streak. Stanford sits at 11-6 on the year, and their outstanding performer, will be calling his name frequently, Maxime Reynaud, wears number 42, the leading scorer and rebounder in the Atlantic Coast Conference. He controls the opening tip.
And you're going to see a lot of North Carolina double teaming him down there, trying to get the ball out of his hands like they did on that play.
Shot clock down to 8, and the jumper is knocked down. Now this is a young man who's not overwhelmed by this environment. The transfer from Duke, Jalen Blakes.
He didn't get a lot of playing time while he was at Duke, but boy, has he really blossomed at Stanford. And a little bit of a reclamation project for Kyle Smith while he was there, but his confidence is just growing. It's good to see him blossom there.
Great foul, the freshman trying to go along the baseline, and how about that shot, banking it in. I don't know about that from Jalen Washington.
You know, any kind of offense that they get from him is a bonus. Averages just over 6 a game, and that possession going nowhere, and the clock running down on their back too.
So the starting lineups here. Stanford, the only school in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Man, it's still weird to be saying they're in the ACC. But they have 3 of the top 18 scorers in the league. And bang from the corner is Donovan Young, the freshman, who missed the first 11 games of the season, and now all of a sudden is playing in just his 6th game of the year, but he makes his 3rd straight start. In our visit yesterday with Kyle Smith, they believe he is going to be a good one.
And he's one of those guys, you know, how do you prepare for a guy like that? He's not on the, you know, you don't have a lot of film to watch on him to get a scouting report, and very athletic guy. You know, you were talking about, I mean, this Stanford team can score the ball. It's on the other end of the floor that they've had issues as far as stopping people.
Yeah, both of these teams, in fact, can score. Carolina averages 83 a game. Stanford 77. First miss of the night for the Cardinals. Nearly 2 minutes gone by. Ian Jackson, number 11. You know, Cooper Flagg gets most of the pub, and rightfully so, as the incredible freshman at Duke. But Ian Jackson is averaging almost 23 per game over the last 7. There's Reynaud from downtown. Well, and a good box out there by Powell.
Well, and if you're Hubert Davis, you want him taking that shot as opposed to being in the paint, drawing a double team, you know, getting your defense spread out.
R.J. Davis, a feed to Powell, and he knocks in the 3 to tie the game.
And, you know, it's another freshman who maybe has been overshadowed by Jackson, and really Hubert Davis was singing his praises yesterday. He's been very steady for North Carolina.
Good defense there by Jalen Washington, and here comes R.J. Davis. Great feed and a block underneath. Wow, by the freshman Donovan Young.
Well, we talked about it, athleticism, just great timing on that play and good hustle. They are very aware of how quickly Carolina gets the ball up the floor.
That's Osiah Sellers, a transfer junior from USC. Take a look at this block.
This is a great delivery, a great pass with just better defense. The pitching beating the hitting on that play, Tom.
Yeah, every time.
I know your passion for baseball.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Carolina and Stanford here today is good stuff. But make no mistake, the great pitching will shut down the great hitting.
I'm a hitter's guy.
Way outside, in and out on the tray by Ryan Agarwal, and here comes David. How about that move? Oh my goodness, Cadeau! He's even smiling. How about that one?
And there was nobody back at the rim that time. He knew if he could get back by that first line of defense that it was clear sailing.
Well, Elliot Cadeau is an entirely different player than the one we saw when we were here. And there's that left hand you talked about earlier on from the big man.
Well, and that's, folks, he's a right-handed player, okay? But he is very adept with either hand. He's got that little jump hook either side, really skilled in the paint area.
Washington kicks it out to Ian Jackson, and that is going to be an offensive foul on Jackson. Fist pump for Kyle Smith, the head man of the Cardinal.
not just in the ACC. This is division ranked. This is across the country.
Yep.
20 points, 11 rebounds, 14 double-doubles, leads the country. Only 2 games that he hasn't had a double-double. Really just consistently a high effort.
Got his own rebound.
And this is the thing, you know, when they lost to Wake Forest this past week, 14-11, which sounds like, you know, it's a good game, but probably below his average. And they limited his offensive rebounding, which was a big key. And but he's gotten off to a quick start here.
Looked like there was some contact there. Agarwal on the shooter Ian Jackson, no call. And Stanford with a 2-point lead. 5 minutes have passed from the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Early happy Martin Luther King weekend, each and every one of you. Hope you're enjoying it.
Stepped out of bounds.
Yep. That's Sellers.
And this is another thing that Renaud is good at. He's good on the double team, passing out of it. He's got good vision. They want him to have more direct line passes. He tends to float it a little bit. But yeah, you've got to be aware of where you are on the court when you're receiving. Well, Lubin is out there. They're not even guarding him out at the three-point line.
R.J. Davis short on the jumper.
And that's a problem. I mean, you know, Renaud is just camped out in the lane, basically a one-man zone there.
What a job Kyle Smith has done wherever he's been as a head coach in college basketball. Was at Columbia for 7 years. Fantastic job there. San Francisco, where he had 3 straight 20-win seasons. And then led Washington State to the NCAA tournament. There's Renaud, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line. Now, one of the drawbacks of North Carolina playing 4 smaller players, if you will, right, and only 1 true big man, is when you go up against something or someone like this.
Well, and, you know, with the speed that North Carolina plays, sometimes they take people off the offensive glass, but Renaud is right there. Now, typically North Carolina is a big team. Tom, this year they are in the 300s as far as average height in the country. And that's in the bottom third in the country. They're playing against the team. They're the 22nd tallest team in the country. So, you know, maybe problematic in this game. And, you know, and Hubert Davis knows that. I mean, that's not going to change this year. And he talked with us about it. So just because we're shorter doesn't mean we have to give up any sort of rebounding advantage.
Well, he made the point to his team that, you know, as far as size goes, Texas A&M is quite similar to them in the SEC, yet is averaging 17 offensive rebounds a game. So Renaud hits them both. He has 6 early on. And a 4-point Cardinal lead. Davis has not scored. Ian Jackson has not scored. Stanford's done a nice job on that duo. That's a nice feed right there. And the finish by Van Allen Lubin, a transfer from Vanderbilt.
Well, see, at least there he makes them pay for the lack of defensive attention, which is, you know, that's a positive.
You know, the one thing about the Carolina big men, and we're primarily talking Washington and Lubin, you know, you combine their numbers, they're averaging right around 13 points and right around 9-10 rebounds a game. So it's not Armando Bacot stuff, but it's not bad. Great head fake and going to the free throw line. Chisholm Okpara. Crowd wanted to travel. You be the judge.
Yeah, I mean, early on, he did keep that left leg down. Once he got in if there was a travel, it was early on when he got established.
In and out for Okpara. If you're looking for a cable news network that respects all Americans and you have a new home with News Nation, see why News Nation is America's most trusted cable news network. To find News Nation on your screen, go to newsnation.now.com.
And this was the thing that was ridiculous, Tom. This team, Stanford, almost 89% as a team from the free throw line in conference.
It's not bad. Not bad. 78% overall in the year.
That's going to win you a lot of games.
Rebound by Powell. Kicks it out to Davis. Into the right corner. Bang! from Seth Trimble.
Well, the thing you like about Trimble is that he had some injury issues, missed 3 games, but his last game out, he got double figures, and it looked like he's getting healthy at the right time.
He had 12 points, 6 rebounds, had 3 steals in just 25 minutes against Cal. That's excellent defense by Trimble, and here comes Davis the other way, pulls up from 3. And Kyle Smith says, hang on a minute. They flew to North Carolina on Monday, going to Winston-Salem, got beat there by a red-hot Demon Deacons team, and then jumped on a bus, traveled from Winston-Salem to Chapel Hill very late after the game, and they practiced here the last couple of days before going home later tonight. But boy, if you want to hear a rant, we talked about Cal and Stanford coming into the ACC. Of course, in the Big Ten, they have UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon. And I mean to tell you, Mick Cronin went on one of the all-time rants the other day, the coach at UCLA. That's Osiah Sellers for a 3.
And that was, really a good timeout at a good time in the game, too, by Kyle Smith. Kind of calm the crowd down a little bit, and then you get a positive result coming out of the timeout, knock down a 3, tie things up.
This guy is just an outstanding basketball coach, and he's been out west, and let's be honest with you, back in this part of the country, we go to bed when a lot of the schools where he's coached would be playing their games. But the 3 straight 20-win seasons at San Francisco, he goes to Washington State in the last 4 years, and won 20 or more 3 times, took them to their first tournament in 16 years, was the Pac-12 Coach of the Year last season.
Washington State's lost some good coaches.
Yes.
First Dick Bennett, then Tony Bennett, then this Kyle Smith. They've had some good guys come through there.
And that's off the mark.
And he's the only, and we talked about Jackson, he's the only Tar Heel that hadn't scored in this game to this point.
Yeah, they have 6 different players with a bucket already. Ooh, that's a hard screen by Raynaud, and then he has an open look for 3, not going to be there. And coming away with a rebound is Lubin. Here comes Davis. Oh, great pass, and great hustle by Lubin.
That's all set up. Raynaud had to pick up the ball coming up the floor, and that's just Lubin running right to the rim. He would recognize his man's occupied. He's wide open. Great basketball.
17-15 in favor of the Tar Heels, their second lead of the game. Raynaud walked.
It's funny, Tom. I was like, we'll take a look at this last play. Here's what he's got to step up and take Davis here, and then Lubin just running right to the rim. The help's late getting there. I look at that play, the travel, that guards get away with that. Big guys never get away with that. Never.
Come on. Here is Cadeau, and he's hacked by Keeler on the way up. That's the second foul on Benny Keeler, the walk-on out of Palos Verdes, California. Just earned a scholarship. Good for him. He was recruited by a number of smaller Division I schools and turned him down and wanted to give it a go at Stanford, and here he is in his 3rd year playing. Cadeau, a 72% free throw shooter. Tomorrow on CW Women's Hoops, Virginia goes to Raleigh to try and slow down number 21 NC State. That's tomorrow at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific, only on the CW. Carolina's largest lead of the game. It stands at 4, 19-15. And Raynaud to get a breather. They'll bring in the redshirt freshman out of Andover, Massachusetts, Aiden Kamen, who wears number 52. He just set the screen.
This may be a time for Blakes to get a little bit more aggressive with Raynaud out of the game.
Boy, he just went right by. What a beautiful move. Went right by Lubin.
That's going left, finishing right. Here's the look. It's a great little crossover. And it's a tough guard for Lubin, but you recognize an offensive player who you have in front of you, and boy, Blake's just understood it and took him right to the rim. I like when the portal works out. It seems for both teams. And for Blake, for him and his career where he was. This has been a positive move. Obviously, at Duke, he wasn't. He wasn't. That wasn't a good fit for him. He wasn't going to play there. So for both schools, it was a positive.
Yeah, with all the criticism about some of the negatives, and there are negatives.
Oh yeah, no question.
This was a good one, and you're right. There are a number of those that we so infrequently talk about. Win-win for everybody. Three-point lead for North Carolina. 9:41 to play until halftime. It's been a competitive game.
And it was funny that Kyle Smith likened this to, he said, this is like playing Arizona from the Pac-12. This game, this atmosphere, this pace.
The old Pac-12, they had some great basketball, and he alluded to that. But, there are so many schools in that league where nobody goes to the games. I mean, I used to live out there for years and years, and Arizona's about it.
Yep.
Oregon. When UCLA's good, obviously they'll draw well. That's an offensive foul on Kamen. He's picked up 2, and he's going to go right back to the bench in favor of Raynaud. That's the only guy they really have to spell Raynaud.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, you look at, well, for Stanford, they get only 23% of their minutes from the bench, which is almost last in Division I. I mean, they really play a short bench. And you look at where the timeouts are, and that's where they try to substitute. Great finish.
Only Tyler Hansbrough has scored more points as a North Carolina Tar Heel than R.J. Davis. And only Armando Bacot has played in more games as a Tar Heel. Today, the 157th for Davis. Bacot played in 169. North Carolina led by Davis. Going to dump it down low. That's a nice move there in the lane by Washington.
They've got some really solid production from their big guys running the floor, whether it be Lubin or Washington. Received it in the paint, done some good things.
Good answer there by Jalen Blakes, and he has 6. Washington for 3. Brick City.
Yeah, I don't know about that shot. He was 0 of 8 on the season.
Yeah.
And Coach Davis might have been scratching his head a little on that one.
That'll be a bump by Elliot Cadeau, and that's his second foul. 20 Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, only on the CW. All right, here we go. 7:21 to play until halftime. Stanford with the basketball. They dump it down into Raynaud, their big man, and he pitches it back outside and into the corner for an even better shot. And able to rattle it in is that Donovan Young, his second 3 of the game, the freshman out of Pasco, Washington.
And, Washington thought better of launching another 3. So I'm sure he heard about that in the timeout. But, it really, Carolina has kept Raynaud under wraps for the most part. And but knocking down the mid-range jump shot.
Washington is off to a nice start.
Yes,
he has 6 points in this game.
Which is his season average.
And 5 assists now in the game for R.J. Davis. Rebound comes off to Carolina. Davis pushing it the other way. You know, Davis's numbers are down this year, and some people are making a big deal out of it. But you see 5 assists so far in the game today. Will fade away jumper, and he'll get the general roll. You know, you look at his three-pointers. Through 18 games a year ago, he had 54 of them. Through 18 games this year, he has 35. So, you know, yeah, some of the numbers are down. He hasn't shot it as well, but it's a matter of time, right, G-Man?
Yeah, but he also doesn't have a lot of other friends at the top of the scouting report like he had last year. And also, you know, Tom, I was there. Your senior year, there's a lot going on in your head. I mean, the real world is right there in front of you. And that, for people who don't think that makes a difference, it does. And you know, you think school's going to go on forever, and it's not. And you're thinking about what's going to happen in the next part of your life. Sure. And there's the pressure that, all right, I got to keep playing like I did play. So you know, there's more to it. But you know, the guy, he's going to play, and he's a big time player, and you know, he's going to be fine. And I think as the more, you know, Davis has got to get involved in this game. Or I'm sorry, Jackson.
Yeah.
But you know, to have him playing well has been a huge bonus, and I think this is a good thing right here for him to get maybe to the free throw line. You know, see a couple baskets go in and get him into rhythm.
Reyno's off to a big-time start. Mike gave his numbers a moment ago in the game. You know, 14 points, 11 rebounds in the loss to Wake Forest earlier in the week. But, boy, it's not slowing him down now. He's got 5 rebounds so far in the game, Reyno, to go along with 9 points. And here's Jackson, who's scoreless so far. And you can change out. You're watching CW Courtside Saturday, presented by Allstate. You're in good hands.
And so far, I think North Carolina is willing to, you know, they're going to have, you know, they're going to make a choice. They're going to get the ball out of Reyno's hands and double team him, but his teammates have picked him up and hit shots out of that double team. And let's see going forward, you know, Jackson now, you see, and sometimes that's what it takes. Get to the free throw line, knock a couple shots down, see the ball go through the hoop, and see if the things relax for him a little bit.
We mentioned he had averaged 23 points per game over this winning streak. And his first 2 in the game come with 5 minutes left to play in the opening half today. That's an offensive foul on Agarwal. He just threw a forearm shiver right in the jaw of Davis. Have wins this season over UCLA, Dayton, SMU. They've been off to a good start. First year in the ACC. NC State last weekend. They've had losses to some of the juggernauts in college basketball. Alabama, Auburn.
You know, if you look at it, I think the one, if they really wanted to flip, would have been the Alabama game here. You know, that really would have been a good one to, you know, because then they beat, you know, with the UCLA, it gives them 2 non-conference really good, you know, really good wins.
Lost in overtime to Kansas. They've lost to the Florida Gators. Lost in overtime to Michigan State. And their only loss in the league came against what's looking to be a potent Louisville Cardinal team. Davis for 3. Not there, and here comes Blakes the other way for the Cardinal. He'll slow it down. Cross-court pass, good ball movement. Agarwal not going to fall in. That'd have been a big one. Bounce pass, and unable to handle it is Lubin. Alley-oop to Reyno. Oh, my goodness, and he'll go to the line. How about the big fella? Oh, my goodness.
And boy, and he just got into transition. Big forward on that team. Maybe the small forward on that team.
Yeah. Well, they won the gold medal together in the under 20 European Championships. So now Reynaud looking for his 12th point of this game. He's 2 for 2 from the line, and he can really shoot free throws. 72% free throw shooter.
Well, and that's the thing, in the weight game, he did not attempt a free throw. They kept him off the line, which really hurt his production. They've been changing defenses the last couple of possessions, going some zone, which they did there.
Ian Jackson just appears to be a little bit off, and that's a strong move to the basket there by Blakes, taking it right up against Cade Tyson.
Well, he had Tyson in full retreat and knew there was no way to stop him.
Ripped out of the hands by Van Allen Lubin, and he has 6. So 12 from the combination of Washington and Lubin.
And Lubin had Reynaud pushed underneath the rim, and again, talk about the combination of production from Lubin and Washington.
Well, they're really doing a nice job. Here's Davis in transition. Jackson still without a field goal in this game. Great defense. Great defense by Donovan Young. Scramble for the ball. It belongs to North Carolina. 12 on the shot clock. 2:04 in the game clock. It's Donovan Young. You can see why they're excited about him. He's very long. He's 6'8", goes 215, only a freshman. He had a knee injury. He had a hip injury. Then he came down with a flu. They just couldn't get him on the court.
Well, and the thing that was really frustrating was he was ready to go, and then he got the flu. And Gossett, he was just shaking his head. What next?
Trimble into the lane, and not going to go. Reynaud rips away his 6th rebound of the game to go along with 12 points. He might get a double-double before the half. Blake's working on R.J. Davis.
No double team.
Blake's is a strong young man.
Well, there wasn't anybody in sight, and that was great recognition by Blake's.
Blake's has an NBA body. He is really put together. And then right back the other end, it's Lubin who has 8.
All right, Lubin, Washington, you've got 14 points, 7 rebounds at the half. Bettering what Reynaud has done in the middle.
And you have 7 points from Davis, but everybody else really quiet. And Reynaud drains another 3.
Wow.
His 2nd 3 of the game, and he has 15 points in his first half.
I amend my last statement.
And now Stanford in front by 1. And rejected by Reynaud. And here comes Blakes the other way. Doesn't have the numbers. And we're under 30 seconds to go in the opening half. About a 5-second differential with a shot clock.
And Tom, this is about the pace that Stanford wanted to play in the 70s in this game. They didn't want to get out of control. They're right about where they want to be.
Tried to lob it too tall, and here comes Davis. Game clock at 8-7. Davis just wildly throws it up, but he'll go to the free throw line. We'll see who they're going to get on the foul. I think they get Sellers, which will be his first. Yep, and R.J. Davis to the free throw line. 86% free throw shooter is Davis.
Well, and the one thing that both teams have done, which they really concentrate on, turnovers. Only 5 for North Carolina, or only 2 for North Carolina, only 5 for Stanford. So the game has been very clean up from the first half.
Stay tuned for today's halftime show presented by Subaru Love. It's what makes Subaru Subaru. Tie game here. And Davis hits his first free throw attempt. Stanford, in fact, is on pace to set an all-time single-season record for fewest number of turnovers per game. And that has been a staple of Kyle Smith coach teams. They just don't give it away. They average 10 per game. All right, you got time now to get off a shot. They'll give it right back to Blake, I would think. Yep, here he goes. 3, 2, and he's fouled, but they had a foul to give.
Yeah, smart play, good awareness.
But that's their 6th, so they won't foul again.
And 2.3, plenty of time. Watch the guy taking the ball inbounds.
Reynaud lets it fly, and it's short. But this has been a good game. Like Jaminski mentioned, it's been clean, and Reynaud has brought his 8.
The unforced turnovers, they did a good job of that in the first half. You got to avoid those pick sixes, the easy points. And for North Carolina, minimize Maxime. They weren't able to do that much in the first half. Let's see if they can do that in the second half. Take away maybe the threes and take him off the free throw line.
Carolina had a 7-point lead before the Cardinal came storming back. Reynaud short on his first attempt to begin the second half. We've had 5 lead changes. 8 times we've been tied so far. And Ian Jackson, who's been averaging 23 points per game over the last 7, does not have a single field goal. Davis off the mark, and the rebound ripped out of there by Sellers. And here's Blakes, who had an excellent first half with 10 points.
And the thing to watch with Jackson is a freshman on that type of role. Let's see if he starts to try to force the issue, Tom. And, you know, get used to scoring that much. You may try to start looking for your own offense.
R.J. Davis rings it in.
He looks really confident today. You know, in his shot, just coming down, pulling up in rhythm.
Davis has 12. And Reynaud tried to tip, tried to get the rebound, and was fouled.
You know, Hubert Davis talked about they've been really double teaming him, guarding him with bigs. But if you're taking threes in transition, you eliminate all of that. You spot up, get it in rhythm, get your shot up.
Well, that's a beautifully designed under the basket set play. Sellers with a jumper, and then he commits a foul.
Yeah, it's just it's way too easy to, you know, direct pass for a 10-foot jump shot.
2-point game. Minute and a half has passed here in this second half. Cadeau to the rack, and that will be a foul. Yep, no goaltending there. Elliot Cadeau, you know, when you and I were here back when LaSalle was in town, right back in second week of December, Cadeau was on a stretch of 5 games where he had 23 turnovers. Well, you come back a month later, and now he has more than 2-to-1 assist to turnovers as he misses a free throw. And don't forget, the CW becomes the exclusive home to NASCAR Xfinity Series. High-octane action, 33 races right here on the CW. It begins at historic Daytona. And starts Saturday, February 15th only on the CW. He hits 1 of 2.
Tom, don't sell yourself short. You're almost as good looking as him.
No. Not even close. And the guy sounds better.
For Cadeau, I mean, the good news today, no turnovers. You know, it's you know, Davis has been the playmaker with 5 assists. But yeah, I mean, ideally, you're a coach, you like 2-to-1 assist to turnover.
Oh my, to the rack, the big fella Reynaud throws it down.
So athletic. You know, to talk about scoring at 3 levels.
And that's a beautiful feed for the slam at the other end by Washington.
Great production out of their big guys.
Well, you're not lying. 16 points in the game, and we're 2.5 minutes into the second half from the duo of Washington and Lubin. Rejected by Powell. Rebound to Stanford. Young had it ripped away by Cadeau. Jackson. And that's a block. He'll go to the free throw line.
You know, if you're Washington, you can't go try to block that. Go for the pump fake. You know, you could just let him go to the rim, and then on the other end, you get the show. And Renaud is saying, "Where's my help on the backside?" He gets caught out helping on that screen roll.
Ian Jackson out of the Bronx, New York. His only points have come from the free throw line, where he's 3 of 3. The last 7 games, he scored 159 points. The only Carolina freshman to ever score more than that in a 7-game stretch. Their all-time leading scorer, Tyler Hansbrough. He had 3 more.
Well, and the thing that Hubert Davis, as he comes out of the game after those free throws, the coaching staff has said the thing that's kept him on the floor, yeah, the scoring's great, but he really has improved defensively.
And the jumper is good. That's a big answer there by Sellers. He has 4 in the second half.
Every time it looks like North Carolina may start to pull away, Stanford they'd come back and hit a jump shot.
Well, he tried it earlier. He's still 0 for the season.
Remember our homage to Mr. Euchre,
yes,
dearly departed?
Absolutely.
Ball 4.
Yeah.
Ball 8. Ball 12.
And now it's 0 for 10. Well, he thinks he can make it. One of these days, he's going to be right. They swing it cross court. Wide open 3 is missed by Sellers.
I think I'm going to live forever. So far, so good.
Yeah, that's right. Davis, a little floater. And Renaud altered that shot. Stanford down by 3. Sitting on a television timeout. Next dead ball. Renaud sets a screen. Sellers passes up the 3. Picks up his dribble underneath the basket, but then was bailed out. But a takeaway, and here comes Trimble. He'll give it up to the big man who tried to make one pass too many, and Carolina caught a break that Agarwal knocked that one out of bounds. Yes, it was the 18th of January, 1986, when undefeated and #1 North Carolina hosted undefeated and #3 Duke. And North Carolina, in a wild one, 96-92, came away with a win. Great block by Renaud.
And Brenneman was sitting in that seat.
Yes, you're exactly right. My father, Marty Brenneman, along with Billy Cunningham. You were here, big boy. Well, the old Carmichael Auditorium, which is still, by the way, standing. And Renaud goes to the rack and lays it in. He's having a monster game.
How do you guard him? And, you know, they've got to respect that three-point shot. Now you've got to chip in on him as a driver.
He's got 19 points to go along with his 10 rebounds. Stanford's single-season record for double-doubles in a season is here's a beautiful pass from Cadeau and the easy lay-in for Lubin, who has 10.
Well, the one thing, I mean, his teammates have been picking up offensively, but they have not given him a lot of help defensively when he's helped on, on screens with big bigs for Carolina.
Well, it's an excellent pass and very good offensive positioning there by Agarwal. His first bucket. It's a one-point game. Another nice feed by Cadeau.
The only other close game, it was a 2-point game against Georgia Tech here at home. The only other league game they've had issues with here. But I tell you, it's dangerous to let this Stanford team hang around.
Moving short on the free throw. 65% free throw shooter on the season. His first attempt today. Stanford got kicked around after playing well in the first half at Wake earlier in the week before falling 80 to 67. And Reynaud another three, and this one is short. And here comes Cadeau the other way for the Tar Heels. Lays it off for Trimble, and they're going inside. Banging down there. That's great defense. Boy.
Well, and they're figuring, you know, the best way we can do is try to attack him, maybe pick up some fouls.
In the corner, and it's good, and that puts the Cardinal in front.
Boy, if Donovan Young can continue to come on, it's going to be a big lift for this team at the end of the season. And that was just really a solid find by Blakes.
Wow. After the rejection, Cadeau comes away and cleans it up. And Carolina back up by one.
On the block, you've got to come up with the missed shot.
Oh, boy, I mean, that's right. If I don't know why Agarwal's even arguing.
Yeah, you're exposed right out front. That's an automatic whistle.
That was brutal. Just a straight out shove.
You know why? There's nothing to be gained by that. You're going to be able to receive the ball.
That's 3 on Agarwal. He has to lead the game. Under 13 minutes to go. And the Tar Heels with a 1-point lead. R.J. Davis cannot get it. And the rebound to Sellers, and the Cardinal will slow it down.
Yeah, unless they've got outright numbers, they're going to try to take some clock time.
Here's Blakes. Swings it cross court. And Young will draw the foul. Young has 3 3-pointers in this game.
Only the second team foul for North Carolina, so not in real trouble there.
Second individual foul on Seth Trimble as Lubin will go have a seat. Washington comes back in. Powell also back in for North Carolina. They run really nice plays along that baseline.
And Sellers was the second guy coming off the screen, and Jackson just a little late coming to him.
Kyle Smith has brought his team to play to Chapel Hill today.
You know, just watching Stanford through this year, really solid in their execution.
This guy is just such an outstanding coach and has been for a long time. That's a clean block right there by Gieler. But Kyle Smith, 55-year-old from El Paso, Texas. He's got it going on in Chapel Hill right now.
His offense, and I don't get the sense that he's doing that here in the second half. He's really not trying to force things a lot, to his credit.
Shot clock at 6 here, and Gieler with a takeaway lays it off to Blakes, who will go to the basket and lay it in.
Well, it's such a dangerous play on the underneath out of bounds, and if that pass doesn't connect, it's the first pass to a fast break.
Davis, boy, he has answered the bell today, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, and shooting it very confidently.
That's his third three-pointer of the game, and we're tied with 11:20 to go.
His team really needed that lift as well.
Shot clock down to 11. Gieler looking for help. They have both of their big men in the game. Somebody better put it up. It's going to be Reynaud. And he draws a foul with 2 seconds on the shot clock. And boy, Washington would like to have that as a do-over.
Somehow, if you're a big guy, you're not used to guarding out there, but you've got to take a peek down at the other shot clock and know how much time is left and just get your hands up. But you're putting this guy at the line with 3 free throws.
Reynaud 72% free throw shooter, 3 for 3 from the line in today's game. CW courtside Saturday doubleheader. Next weekend, SMU goes to NC State. You and I'll be right back here at the Dean Dome for Boston College in North Carolina. That starts next week at high noon Eastern, 9 Pacific only on the CW. Raynaud with 21 points in the game.
Well, that's going to be, you know, there's really no way in Hubert Davis is not going to answer Stanford's size at all. The only way you could do is put Lubin back in the game. He's going to stay small.
22 points and 12 rebounds, and we still have 11 minutes left in this game for Raynaud.
They're going to go a big zone.
Tell you, that Geeler gets after it on defense now. That young man is a walk-on. Wears number 5. Trimble for 3. Off the mark. And Blakes will walk it up for the Cardinal. They're looking for Raynaud. He's working for position now. He'll come back out beyond the three-point line and will set a screen here for Blakes. And then they kick it back out to Raynaud. It didn't even catch iron. Jackson still looking for his free. He passed up an open 3 there.
Well, I think it's he also could have taken it on the drive if he really wanted to be aggressive. With this lineup, too, there's not going to be many offensive rebounding opportunities for North Carolina.
This crowd, 21,000 plus, trying to will the Tar Heels to get it into gear. We're under 10 minutes left, and Stanford with a 3-point lead, and that's another silly foul. 25 feet away from the basket by Washington, and that is going to be his second.
14th foul.
I mean, you don't pay the price now, but you certainly might pay it later, as Washington's going to go to the bench in favor once more of Van Allen Lubin, the junior out of Orlando. This is where Stanford has been excellent, as Raynaud's going to leave, and that's on out-of-bounds plays. Gotten 3 easy baskets on that exact play. The second man coming through 3 times in a row has been Sellers.
And I liken those to like special teams play or set pieces in soccer, you know, and you're fishing on those.
Davis passed up the 3. He gets bumped by Young. But this is the exact same play they've run every time.
First guy through, second guy through. He gets hung up on the screen. Well-run play.
You tell me. I mean, you know, you've forgotten more than I know. I've never understood man-to-man under the basket on inbounds plays for that reason.
Well, and also just if you know where that's going, shade the passer that way. You know, try to, if you're going to redirect the pass, you know, shade him on, pressure him on that side.
How about that? First bucket of the game. Let's see if that gets him going at the 9-minute mark for Ian Jackson.
And the crowd has been waiting for that, and they understand, too, what that means. Big time Raynaud on the bench as well. Time opportunity here for Carolina to make a little bit of a move.
They got wide open in the corner down here, but they don't find Young as Sellers misses a jumper. Trimble with a left hand, and there lays it in. And Kyle Smith says, hang on a minute. All of a sudden, that lead. Now here he is in his senior year.
And he thought about the portal, too, with the coaching change. And actually, Kyle Smith was very honest. He said it was Stanford that brought him back, not so much the coaching change. He likes Stanford.
Foul underneath is going to go against Van Allen Lubin. Lubin has had an outstanding game. He has 11 points to go with 4 rebounds. In fact, the Carolina duo of Washington and Lubin have combined for 19 points and 8 rebounds. That's not neck and neck quite yet with Reynaud, but it's not far behind.
Well, and you know, the added bonus is you get 10 fouls.
Right.
You can work with that as well if you get working with 2 bodies.
Tough shot, and it goes in for Agarwal.
Now, if he can just keep his head under control out there and stay away from the unnecessary fouls.
This is a 3-point lead. We're under 8 minutes, and a foul will go against Gielert. As Cadeau goes to the basket, he'll shoot 2 when we come back. Timeout. The all-time great North Carolina players.
Kangaroo kid.
Boy, he was something.
Coach of the 76ers
Yep.
at that time, and I don't think I'd been traded to the 76ers then. I was probably still with the Nets at that point, so I don't know if I had a game on that day or not, but I was certainly following it with interest.
Oh, for sure.
It was Johnny Dawkins and Jay Billis, Mark Allery on that team, back when Jay had hair.
Well, I'm sure he appreciates that. It is what it is. I know all about it.
North Carolina wins that inaugural. Imagine the pressure of that game.
Oh, man.
The first game here.
And 2 undefeated teams.
Yep.
Ranked number 1 and number 3 in the country. Good offensive rebound there. And that is Lubin, who will go to the free throw line. He's fouled by Young.
And he's been terrific. And the reason he gets that is because Reynaud goes for the block. He gets taken off the glass, and Lubin is right there for the second chance. Yeah, but, I mean, talk about with Billy Cunningham.
Hold that thought. We're all aware of the tragic fires in California, the devastation. And here's how you can help people. Please go to redcross.org or text the word C-A-wildfires to 90999. And look, I want to say one thing right now. We haven't forgotten about the people in North Carolina either, because a lot of people have forgotten about the people in North Carolina.
Yeah, Western North Carolina is still suffering. We need to remember them as well.
Absolutely. All right, we got a game here. Carolina up by 1. Stanford had opened a 5-point lead. They triple team Reynaud, and then a foul on Jackson as he's helped up, or attempting to help up. Jackson from the floor was Blake.
Still not in the bonus right there.
Ow.
That's a scary thing. You get caught up in the air like that with your back to the floor.
7 fouls on Stanford, 6 on North Carolina. So the next Carolina foul, both teams will be in a bonus. Sellers pulls up short. And a rebound ripped out of there by Trimble. North Carolina trying to add to the lead. To the basket, it's Cadeau.
Great aggressive move by Cadeau. Blake's really kind of opened up and left him a driving lane.
Reynaud another 3. Nope, not going to be there. I mean, he's hit a couple, but that's not his game.
Yeah, I think with 6 minutes to go, he needs to be in the paint area. You're going to get 3 points, do it with the and 1.
Closing in on 6 minutes to go from the Smith Center. R.J. Davis takes it himself. Reynaud blocks it, tips it twice, and then got it back. Shot clock violation. And the ball belongs to the Cardinal.
Here's a look there, boy. That was just a great crossover. He just got by Blake's. I thought on that possession that Davis just dominated the ball a little bit too much.
Bump underneath, and this will put Stanford in the free throw line. Davis got tangled up with Blakes. And we will have a timeout on the floor. So 1-1 for Blakes. We mentioned how good the Cardinal is at the line. He's an 80% free throw shooter and nothing but net.
So you would think edge Stanford going out here if it turns into a bit of a free throw shooting contest.
Stanford 8 of 9 at the free throw line, make it 9 of 10. Tar Heels are 15 out of 18. Blakes has 14 in the game and a lead down to 1 with 5:27 to go. R.J. Davis so patient that time.
It looks like me like he wants to put this team on his back and win this game. And he has just been very dominant with the ball.
Davis now is 17. Shot clock at 15. They try and isolate Reynaud, but Trimble drifted down there.
No double team that far away from the basket and a late double team.
Shot clock at 3. I'm not sure they know it. Sellers lets it fly. And the rebound to Trimble.
Not a good offensive possession for Stanford. It's that late double team, I think, that threw the timing off.
Carolina with the ball and a 3-point lead, 4:27 left. And that's going to be a foul from behind. That is such a savvy move by Davis. He knew where the defender was.
Well, and it's not just a defender, it's a big defender. And he's not used to guarding a guard out there. He gets caught up. And Davis just waits on him. He just stops his dribble and waits to get run over. 1-on-1 though.
It's 2 of 2 at the line. RJ with 17 points. If he stays healthy. I mean, he had to put some serious scoring together. Right now he's number 2 all time, behind Tyler Hansbrough for career scoring at North Carolina.
I hated to shoot in the quiet. I'd want somebody making some noise, even at home.
Did the camera crazies listen to you on that?
A little bit, I guess.
All right, here we go. 5-point game. Stanford needs a bucket in the worst sort of way, and Blakes will go to the line. He knew he had the smaller and certainly leaner Cadeau.
Well, and if anything, you've got to try to make him go left. You know, with Blakes, he did a nice job getting to his strong hand, and he knew if he can get his hip onto him, at least draw the foul.
That's when you know you're a good free throw shooter, when you get breaks like that. 3 for 3 from the line. And 4 out of 4, and the lead is down to 3.
Back to the zone for Stanford. Carolina hasn't done real well against this zone.
Here's Jackson. Only 1 field goal the entire game for Ian Jackson. 3:40 to go. That is a vicious screen set by Reynaud.
He set a couple of them.
I can't believe they didn't give him the ball on that penetration. Left hand is short.
And he's been quiet during this stretch. We have not heard a lot from him. Crowd a little apprehensive right now, Tom.
Well, understandably so. mean, Stanford's had a nice year. Davis an air ball, and that is off of, and Blake's can't believe it. He thought that they're going to review this. I think they're going to take a look at this because Blake thought this ball was off of Lubin.
For him, like we said it all during the game, him and Washington have done a nice job together.
Carolina's largest lead is 7. Stanford's 5. We've had 9 lead changes and 10 ties. 3 minutes exactly to go. Step back 3 attempt by Cadeau.
You know, that's the second time that they've had a guard on Cadeau and they've settled for a step back 3 instead of trying to drive him.
Cadeau watches as Raynaud misses. He only has 7 points in the second half. And he's just settling as he is whistled for a foul. And Cadeau went crashing into one of our cameramen under the basket. Hopefully the cameraman and Cadeau are both okay.
Well, here's the thing, Tom. We talk about numbers, and Cadeau's had a terrific game today. But if you're Hubert Davis, you know, he's got 22 points, but Cadeau is 7 of 22, and half of those are 3-point attempts. I think that's a line that Hubert Davis could live with. If you make him a high-volume shooter with half of his shots beyond the 3-point line, that's not bad. Better than him being 7 of 12 and 6 of 8 from the 3-point.
Cadeau hits 1 of 2. Yeah, Raynaud had 15 points in the first half and just 7. And Stanford has not hit a field goal in over 5 minutes. Yet still trails by just 4. Raynaud again, and this time he knocks it in. And a timeout by Kyle Smith. Palo Alto tonight. It'll be a long night.
Yep.
And it's a 1-point game. 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 4 blocks.
And let's see, this zone has been really good for him. Oh, great play by Young.
Well, Young, I'm surprised he didn't go straight to the basket there. He had a player at the other end that would have defended him at 6'3", and he goes 6'8". And here's Blake's. And no call there. It's blocked by Jackson out of bounds. Shot clock 16, under 2 to go.
You know what, Tom? With Young, with more court time this year, maybe he might have reacted differently in that play. I mean,
Good point.
He just hadn't been on the floor that much.
I mean, he actually passed the ball backwards after stealing. Here we go. They've been so good on out-of-bounds plays. And they do it again. And Aguilar lays it home, and Stanford leads by 1.
That was just, they pull everybody out. They get a straight line cut with a pass for a layup. I mean, that again, that's the thing that should never happen.
Agarwal watches as Tremble lays it in, and Carolina back in front. 1:30 to go and a 1-point game.
Good aggressive take. They had Raynaud on the weak side. Rim opened up.
Young, the freshman, passes up the 3. Raynaud coming out to set a screen. And they cross-court it to Sellers. Shot clock at 7. Raynaud with the ball. He says, get out of the way. Steps back. And no good. That's a tough shot. And a jump ball, possession, North Carolina, with 1:03 to go.
All right, North Carolina's sitting in good shape. 3 timeouts for Hubert Davis. Stanford with 1. Neither team in the double bonus yet. Well, Stanford next foul puts North Carolina there.
Under a minute to play. North Carolina leads Stanford by 1. Cadeau to R.J. Davis. And it's not there. Rebound for the Cardinal. It was knocked out of bounds by Tremble, but it's Stanford ball with 42 seconds left and a timeout on the floor.
Him was a teammate of his actually up in New Jersey for a little bit. Dear man.
All right, he sitting on the edge of his seat, so is about 21,000 of his buddies.
Yeah, Coach Smith would have 4 fingers up in the air right now with him.
Reno, Stanford down 1 and losing the handle. Crowd wanting a travel. And here's Blakes, and he'll go to the free throw line. Bumped on the way up. That was acrobatic by Agarwal. Two shots now for the 80% free throw shooter Blakes, who is now 5 out of 5 from the line, and that ties the game. All right, who are you looking for if you're Carolina coming back down to the other end, trailing by 1?
Well, I mean, it's been R.J. Davis. I mean, he's been the one who's put the ball in his hands, get something going to the rim.
Carolina,
they score.
Okay,
let's get it back in. Now, you know, for North Carolina, you're taking a shot and giving yourself enough time to get an offensive rebound and get the ball back up. You're not. This isn't last shot.
All right, here we go. That's R.J. Davis with the ball in hand. Gives it off to Tremble. We're down to 11, down to 10. Tremble to the basket, and he'll go to the free throw line. 7.7 seconds left. Tremble has not been to the free throw line today. He is an outstanding free throw shooter.
Well, and that's, you know, that's what you want to do. 84%. Send him. Put the pressure on the referee. Drive it to the basket. Give yourself a chance for either a foul call.
He hits the first one to tie the game. 83% on the year. Ian Jackson will leave in favor of the taller Drake Powell on defense for North Carolina. This is for the lead. Got it. All right. Stanford will have to wait a second.
Blake's just try to outright deny him the ball, getting it back at all costs.
They full court pressure North Carolina, and they give it right back to Blakes, and here he comes. Crossover, straight to the basket, pull up, fade away for the win with 0.9. If it stands, we'll see if they reset the clock. But step.
Well, is he going to go out of bounds and then throw it?
Yep. You have Tremble at midcourt. You have R.J. Davis all the way at the other end of the court under the basket. They're going to throw it the length of the floor. And that's the game. The Stanford Cardinal, the biggest win in years in their program.